Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Hot Topics.
Good morning.
We're together
in the studio.
Yay.
So it was funny. This is the photo. Fay talked about this a couple of weeks ago, I think, and said that somebody actually thought we were in this city.
Which would be awesome.
It would be, and I don't know where that city is, but we just love the picture.
Yeah. So we're in our studio. We're really excited. We did a lot of videos yesterday. It is, I have to say, it is much easier when your table and your lights and everything are set up.
Yeah, exactly. So we actually recorded some behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And we also published some bloopers from yesterday. So if you are interested in watching us, because people make mistakes.
Yeah.
Like we're not sitting here saying, do one run through and it's perfect. So on my Instagram, I have the bloopers, and on her Instagram reel, she has the behind the scenes. So you can kind of see our setup behind the computer. Because a lot of people think that you're in like a professional studio and stuff like that because you only see in front of the camera. Yeah. So I always get really interested in seeing kind of setup that people have behind their computer. Like right now we have a desk with a table on top of it, with a stand on top of that, and then the computer.
Yeah, because we do want to buy, so our goal is now to buy a high desk so that we can have some stools and sit here and be able to do the recordings, but we haven't got there yet. We've come a long way.
We're here.
Yeah.
That's good.
If you see behind the scenes, just so you know, this isn't a full blown, this is the only thing we do in a studio. This is I like to call it our Google office because we have our desks with all our setup. We also have all our studio lights, our soft boxes, LEDs. We have a screen that doubles as a TV too, obviously, but we can do training on this and we can, just watch something. And then we also have a pool table and our entire workout areas here too. Oh, and a basketball thing. Yeah. So we have an elliptical and a treadmill and spin bikes and everything too on top of that. So for me, the goal was, work. And then when you're getting tired and you need a break, just jump on the elliptical or do something. If you feel like you're motivated to do a video, it's already set up.
And that's the big thing with video is making sure that you're already set up because it takes, if you have to, I want to do a video for a particular landing page. And if it takes you 10 minutes to move tables, set up lights, do all of that kind of stuff, you may not do it. But if you, like yesterday, we were looking at one of our landing pages and we realized that, it would probably be better if we had a video that kind of explained what you would be getting on this particular product. So we just hopped here, did a really quick video, boom, recorded, uploaded within minutes. So if you can in your house or in your office or wherever you work, if you can do a setup that you can easily jump into a video, it will make your life so much easier.
Yeah, and you don't need big soft boxes or anything. You just need your ring light.
Yep, exactly.
That's all you need. That's all we've ever used. We were just fortunate now that we have the space that we have light boxes if we want to use them.
Yeah.
What's the difference? They're just, they add obviously more light. So everything's a little brighter, but it depends on what you're looking for as well. So anyway, I mean, for us, the studio, the office morphed as we went for months and months and months. So, it kind of shifted its use and purpose, but now it's finally ready and settled. And so we are able to do what we want to do. But again, if we were in our homes, if you guys have been watching us, I know a lot of you are listening to us on the podcast, but if you're watching us, you've seen that, we just worked wherever we could because in the middle of moving and construction and everything else, it was just like pop up your laptop, hope there's a light, not always. And
sometimes you were dark.
Sometimes
in the middle of your move. Yeah.
So, but you still keep going.
Well, and you know what? It was actually very funny. Speaking of video, so yesterday, I found an old video. She's gonna start laughing now.
Hi, I'm Stacy Maynard.
Yes, I may have sounded like Mickey Mouse. I actually have a video where I'm like, "Hi, I'm Stacy Maynard," and then I have Mickey Mouse. Hi, it's Mickey Mouse.
I was like, I couldn't stop laughing the entire afternoon.
So I'm not sure what happened to my voice on that particular day, but the most important thing was it was 6 years ago. So it was January 2016. So I had literally just purchased Kajabi, which is, as people have been watching us for a while know, that's our mothership. I have all of my programs. It was the first place that I was able to host an online program. So again, new in business. I had never coached with Fay before. I called it the BF before Fay. And so I watched this video and I looked at the program that I did because I did a challenge. And we were yesterday talking about doing a challenge. So we're thinking about what we're going to do. And I did this challenge right in the beginning. I wonder what it was like. And sometimes you don't know. So the saying is, if you're not embarrassed by the first video you put out there publicly, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This video, again, I don't know what happened to my voice that day.
No.
I don't know what I was wearing. The lighting was awful.
Yeah.
I looked awful. My own mother barely recognized me and went, I don't even, like, what? I look younger now than I did then. Like, I looked old, which was weird.
Yeah.
I was wearing red lipstick though, so I'm not sure what I was thinking because I hadn't worn lipstick much before that.
But it clashed with everything
color
you're wearing.
It was weird. Like, it just was not good. And then we started looking at some of the product that I had actually put out. So what I did is I did a 14-day challenge, and I did one video or one training a day for 14 days.
Yeah.
So each video was a slideshow. Three slides each day, like nothing. I don't know what, again, I don't know what I was thinking. There was nothing. And then I did a PDF each day. And the PDF was this one, I'm making fun of myself now, so please feel free to laugh.
Yeah.
Because it was this is what not to do.
Yeah.
Like, I've learned so much since then, right? It was a PDF. It was a one-pager. Half the page was a picture. Another part of the page was a quote, which I use the same quote every day. I'm not sure why I would do that. The bottom third of the page was like my logo and all that. And stuck in the middle at like an eighth of the page was 3 sentences. And it was the same every day. And it was just, I was looking back at this going, oh my goodness. Like, but again, I was so proud then because I got it done.
Yeah.
I had an idea. I took action on it. And I had a lot of people go through that particular challenge. Like, that was the funny part. Like, I had like hundreds of people go through this, and I looked back at it now and go, holy cow, like, it's embarrassing. It's obviously not out there now. It's completely taken down. I checked my program. I checked the back end.
Oh, that's why you logged into your stuff.
Yeah. It's not there anymore. It's not able to be found.
Yeah.
It is deleted because I probably looked at this a few years ago and went, holy cow, make sure that this is not on the internet to be found. Yeah. So I clipped the video of the very beginning where I do sound like Mickey Mouse. I put it with Mickey Mouse. I sent it to a couple of friends to make their day. And
hopefully you'll post it one day.
Yeah, I told her not to. And she goes, then stop sending me stuff.
Yeah.
So it was so again, if you're not embarrassed by the first video you've done in your social media, but that's a lesson a lot of people talk about. Better have it done and grow. And as you grow in your business, you get better and better. So that was the BF before Fay. And then of course I started coaching with Fay probably later that year. Yeah. Is when you did your mastermind. Yeah. And now we look at the stuff and it's just so, because you learn, right? As you learn, you change and you grow. So if you're just starting out, it's okay.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of those. But I will tell you, so because I know as we're talking, a lot of you are probably thinking, well, what about Fay? What does she have? So I grew up in corporate America.
Right.
So my job was, since I was right out of school, was doing presentations for executive teams, board members. So it's not on video, but all my training, everything that I did, I had to put out there real quick, and it had to be really, really good.
But didn't you, right out of high school, or maybe you were in high school, do sales, like door to door?
Yeah.
Yeah, back then, like that. And that also would have taught you, again, scripts and understanding how to do that process.
I remember when I was going to school, I was also in customer service, but then right out of school, I was in sales. So I sold cargo space for a shipping company. And then I was selling for Wilkinson Sword. And they literally gave us, they hadn't had sales reps before. So they hired 3 of us, and they gave us a territory, a car, and a sales binder. And they said, go get us customers. So, and I was 20 something, very young, and didn't know anything, and did not want to go into sales. But back then it was hard to get a job because it was recession and all that stuff. And so I had to learn on my feet. So I've been, that's all I've ever done. That's all I've ever done is present and do sales. And so I've never had that worry about, is this, valuable? Am I giving information? Does it make sense? Because I've had no choice because my job depended on it. So it's a very different experience. So for those of you who, who are like me, who grew up in the corporate world, you might not have the same learning curve in terms of, you might not have starting from A. You
may not have started sounding like Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. So there you go.
I might put that on our video training and our Global Impact Accelerator as an example of, because I do have, so in the video training, now that I'm thinking about it, I do have a couple of what not to do's. So mistakes that people have made, but they're other people's.
Right, now you can do
So maybe I need to drop in my own and say, this was me 6 years ago or in 2016, because obviously that program lives. I'll say this was me in 2016. Yeah. And it's okay. Like I'm not, I could put it out there because I'm not, okay, I'm a little embarrassed that I sounded like Mickey Mouse. She so may have laughed a little bit too hard.
It's really cute. Hi, I'm Stacy Vader. Hi, everybody. You know what I was trying to explain to Stacy first? I was like, it's definitely Mickey Mouse. And then Spencer said, it sounds a little Elmo.
Yes.
And then I said, for those of you who are old like me, if you remember Mr. Bill, oh!
See, now I don't remember Mr. Bill, so it must be just a little bit pre-me. But I watched, but it did sound like that when you showed me the video.
Mr. Bill, it was from SNL days, and it was like a claymation guy that died every week. So check it out, Mr. Bill. It's very funny. It was actually, and I was really young at the time because it was in the days of John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd and all that stuff. But that was like the peak of SNL. But I also wanted to say something about, for the people that are, again, coming from corporate or they've been in that business and they're transitioning over. The mistake people make is they think they're starting from scratch, right? And they're not, because what you do in your corporate world is on a daily basis is you're selling, right? You're selling your idea, you're selling whatever you do, you're always selling to your boss. And so you have to think of that. So you couldn't go to your boss if you're asking for something. You have a whole presentation made and there's points that you follow to reinforce why you're asking for something, right? So it's the same when you're doing a video. If you are adding value, you're giving your audience value, it's the same thing. What are the points that you're going to say that will add value so that they buy in? They're not buying from you, but they're buying your information. So I think the mistake is people think they throw all their experience out the door, and that's actually what makes you really good. So think about what you've done in your back life, in your other life, and then bring it into whatever you're doing online.
Well, that's the ironic part, is that I have a corporate background. So I worked 10 years very closely with the marketing department, which was of one. In Canada, we had one marketing manager. In the US, we had a lot. And I worked very closely with her about Canadianizing information, logos. I did presentations for the sales team. And they looked really good. They were very professional. They went out to like the hundreds of sales teams. And so that's the ironic part. And I think you're right, is that we forget that we have all of this information, all of this experience that we can bring to the entrepreneurial world. But we somehow, in my brain back then, I was separating it.
Yeah, because
that was then.
If you looked at what you gave out, think about, would you have given that to your company?
No, ever. I would have been fired.
Yeah, right.
Like, I seriously, because I mean, my boss ran Canada.
Yeah.
So I had to also do presentations for him to deliver to the US, worldwide, like really great information. I would have gotten fired. Yeah. So, but it's interesting how your brain says, well, that was then. And somehow being an entrepreneur is different. Yeah. So again, and that's one of the things, I think that was probably one of the first things in our first coaching session way back then, was like, don't you have all of this experience in bringing that forward? And I was like, you're right. And I didn't think about that. And then that's that way with
And I guess, it just depends. I mean, with the company I was with, it was so drilled into us. I mean, what we were required to do, and the speaking training we did, and the sales training we did, everything you can think of. It was so drilled in that even to this day, my brain can't like separate that, right? So when I go into customer service, like we went in 2 days ago, there's a little tiny cafe in town, in a little tiny town here, which is under 5,000 people. And there's and it just says their name. I'm not going to say it out loud. Their name and cafe, and it says coffee and gelato. That's all it says on the sign. And I've never went in, and it's been open for over a year. I've never went in because I'm like, I don't want any drip coffee. I can make it myself.
Exactly.
If it was Starbucks, I'm going. But I was with someone else, and they said, let's go in. They got to have cappuccino and stuff. And I'm like, no, there's nothing in the sign that says that. So we walk in, and it's this great cafe. And it's got everything you think of cafe. They have cappuccinos, lattes, you name it. They have beautiful sandwiches. They have beautiful things for sale. And then I was getting a latte for Stacy, and I said, oh, I don't think I'll get her one because I don't think she wants regular milk. And they're like, oh, we have almond milk and we have oat milk. And so all of that, you don't know unless you walked in the door. And I would have never, ever walked through the door.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I said to her, because this is what I'm saying about you can't leave your information behind. I said to her, I go, look, I just want to let you know you have a fabulous place. It would be great if you put on your front window that you sell cappuccinos and lattes, because I bet you tons of people would walk in.
More people would.
And she's like, oh, we do have a sandwich board outside that says coffee.
So close.
But what I'm saying is you can't, like, if you're used to continually, like, it's a muscle, right? So by my giving her information, which is what we do, right? Yeah. We tell people how to get better, how to raise their visibility, how to get their brand noticed. If you continue to do it, whether somebody likes it or not, but if you continue to do it, your information knowledge, it strengthens and gets reinforced as well. So, any chance I can, I'm always telling people, if I see something, I'm telling them how to improve it. But that comes from years and years and years of getting drilled into your head that you must at all instances be thinking about, how am I going to get better here? How's the brand going to get better? How are we going to get more sales? And so if you've grown up in that, you need to continue. And if you're on the flip side, if you're a small business like this cafe and someone gives you this information, you should think about it. I know she doesn't know me, but I just told her that if it had, and I told her I hadn't been in here. I actually told her my whole experience.
And you were ordering a latte.
Yeah.
So you were now a customer.
Yeah. So if I said, if he didn't drag me in, which was true, I wouldn't have come in. So you would think that she would think to herself, okay, well that, I want
good
her,
idea.
let's
do more
it.
Customers that want that type of product, because it's also better for them because they make more money. Cappuccinos, lattes, usually more expensive than the drip coffee and stuff like that. So you're selling a higher product.
Yeah, and she said, well, we get a lot of locals who come in for sandwiches and stuff. Yeah, but I get it, but how many people would actually come in if people knew? So if I wanted a cappuccino made, I would go 10 minutes further out.
Yep.
Because there is one place in the next town, grounded, that sells cappuccinos and lattes. Because I wouldn't think anything in this town sold it.
Interesting.
So,
but it is hard to turn off. You're right. When you see things, and that's the thing, you're always thinking of your own business. You're always thinking of better ideas.
Yeah.
And when you see what other people are doing with their business, it's always great to always thinking of customers, always thinking, like, I can't tell you the amount of times I'll see something out in the world, or I'll see something online, and I'll send it to someone who I know does something like that. Going, oh, have you thought about this, or positioning it like this? This was really interesting, the way this was worded or the way this was positioned. And it's like, oh, actually, that's really cool. Thank you so much for sending that.
And we do the same thing. Yeah. If we see something out there that we like, oh, that's really cool, let's put it into our stuff, right? Because it's a great idea that we never thought of. And, that's the whole point, is if you see something that you really like and you really enjoy, you should go for it, right? Absolutely. Take it and use it. So lots of learning all the time for everyone.
Well, you're always learning, and I love to learn. I'm the quintessential student of life. I love to learn. So right now I'm learning something. It's the bane of my existence, but that's okay. I'm learning it. But that, like, people say, what gets you out of bed in the morning? And I think that's a really good thing to understand. What excites you about your business? What gets you out of bed? What like makes you pick up that phone and call someone and be like, wow. Like last week, I remember I was trying out a new program that Fay had found, and I FaceTimed. I never FaceTime her, by the way. Like, it's weird. Like, we either text or we go on a call and talk for a little bit. I never FaceTime her. And I FaceTime her, and I was like, I couldn't even get the words out. Like, I was so excited. And that's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And when I get to learn something and it works and I see it and I figure something out, like, remember there was a problem. I just couldn't get the data I wanted. And I'm a big person on analytics. I think you need to look at your data. You need to look at your results to know if what you're doing is working. So, and every step along the way, it's very important to understand, okay, I put this out. These are the results I'm getting. Are these the right results? Are we looking at the right time frame? Are we looking at the right information to make the decisions? And then you go to the next step. Okay, what are they doing? The whole customer journey. Like, where are you getting your customers? Where are you losing your customers? Where are they making those decisions and how? So I do believe at looking all the results along the way. So I was looking at results and I just wasn't seeing, it wasn't the numbers I had an issue with. It was just the type of information and the way it was displayed. I was like, I must be missing something. I must be missing something. And then yesterday morning, I figured it out. So literally Faye walked in the door and I kind of get so excited. I lose my ability to speak sometimes because my brain is working so fast that my mouth can't catch up. So I was like, look,
it works.
This is what I was missing. And I get ridiculously excited about stuff like that. The tech, the back end, how things work, how to find information, how it all fits together. That's me. So figure that out for yourself in your business as well. Like, I know with Faye, it's like, again, she goes into the coffee shop and she came home and she was excited. She's like, this is all they had to do. It was something really small. And that's what makes her the strategist, right? About like, she can see the whole picture of what would attract customers and how to position yourself to be that leader in the industry. Yeah. And it was just that one thing that probably would make the biggest difference. Now you'll look next week. On the sandwich board will be cappuccinos, lattes,
I hope so, because I always, I want to say when they kind of don't do anything, I want to say, people pay me thousands of dollars. Oops. There we go. Yeah. People pay me thousands of dollars to answer these questions. Yep. And I'm giving you this information for free. So really you should use it. But the problem is, I think people are isolated in their...
One moment, please. I'm going to tell the person who's calling. Oh, I can't.
I'm going to get isolated. Oh, yes, you just...
Yeah, that's okay. Hang on. We're live. It's okay. One
second. This is... So just so guys... So it's tech. So we got to show you. So if you have Fire Stick, you can go ahead and download an app called AirScreen, I think it's called, and then you can share whatever you have. So you don't have to use any cords or whatever. You can share whatever you want from your phone or from your laptop or whatever. So that's how you would go about actually training with a screen in the background. So that's the one.
And you can put. You can put something on the background, but you just have to wait a second for me to get back up. Because apparently when I took it off. So this is what happens with tech, right? Like, it's really cool that literally I can take a picture of my phone, exactly what she was saying, and AirPlay it to the picture, and we're going to go boom.
Yeah. So if you're on...
But if you can't touch your phone.
Yeah. So if you're on Apple TV, you AirPlay. Yeah. And if you're on a Fire Stick, you have to download something like AirScreen because... Apple and Amazon don't really like each other much. So
actually, we're having that conversation yesterday. That was interesting. Yeah. That Apple, it's the other way. Like Apple.
Well, Apple doesn't feel like they have competitors.
That's true. Right. That's true.
Yeah. So on Apple TV, if you want to watch, for those of you who have Apple TV, when all the apps come up, you want to watch Prime, it's sitting there, Amazon, you click it and you watch. With the freaking Amazon Fire Stick, they kind of hide it. So you have to search for Apple TV every single time because they don't want you watching it.
Right. So it's the same thing with this Fire Stick. You can download an app, but it's not intuitive. No. It's easy. Now that we have it on here, it's easy because I just go to my phone, I click AirPlay, and boom, it comes up, and now we can have a picture behind us as opposed to a TV.
And here's the thing about, and that's why we go well together. I love finding stuff. Yeah. But I don't want to do it.
And I love doing
so I'm all over it. Like I'm just constantly sending her stuff. Constantly, like even last night, right? Yeah. Or this morning, I was sending you stuff that I found. But I don't want to do it. but I'm like, we like this. This is what we need. Now go figure it out.
Yeah. And then I pick up the ball and I run with it. And I go, oh my goodness, this one was amazing. I loved it. This was great training. This was great learning. This helped me understand this particular program better, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Or this was crap.
Yeah.
But I know them enough. And that's why, again, so we have a resources page that we're going to start putting a lot of these different programs that we find, because they are tried, true, and tested.
Yeah, and everyone keeps asking us, and we want to share them.
Yep.
It's just that sometimes, back in the day when I first started online marketing, that was back in the old days when the internet was like
100 years ago,
just coming out. And what you would do is you would find, somebody that was doing something, and you would email them and say, what are you using? Or then you got a little more sophisticated, and then you were able to figure out how to go onto their back end
of their site,
and look in their sources and stuff. But like, you had to ask, and now all you have to do is Google, and you can say, I'm looking for, something to share my screen onto my TV.
Yeah.
And then all these information will come up. That didn't exist back then. So for us, it's finding things are easy. We understand how to ask for them in Google. A lot of people don't, but we understand how to ask for them and find the information. So for those of you who are not comfortable with that, you'll be able to go to our resource page and go, this is what we use. We're not recommending stuff we don't use. We're only listing things that we actually use. So it's not an influencer campaign about buy this. No.
And we actually use it, and I know if it's good. And there was one that I found, and I thought I liked it at the beginning, and I started using it. I started looking at it, and now I don't really love it. So that will not be on that page.
Yeah.
And if there's anything that you see, honestly, like if there's anything that you see, if a product and you go, oh, like this looks really good because their sales page is amazing, but I'm not really sure.
Yeah, send it to us and we'll tell you. We probably tried it.
Yeah.
Right. We probably tried it. The other thing too is there's things that we like that are great, but they're just not working for us right now because we found something else. But for someone else, it's the perfect fit.
Right.
So we will list those too,
yeah.
But we have to have either trialed it or used it, or we're not going to list it because we have lists and lists of stuff that we've tried and bought and never used.
Exactly.
Because we logged in.
But you know what?
once.
And I also make judgment calls on customer service. So we just had a situation where I needed to change something on one of the programs that we purchased, and just when we were setting it up, it just didn't, I couldn't change it on my end. They had to change it on theirs, and they did a turnaround in a day.
Yeah.
And to me, that's amazing. So they were responsive. They responded that they received it. They told me the timeline in which it would be done. They confirmed back to me it was done. And then they answered another question that I had with some really interesting information. And actually, it was interesting in customer service. Sometimes you think it's you, right? Sometimes if you look at something and you go, this isn't working, what am I doing wrong?
Yes.
And I went on, so there's something that I was trying on their website and I couldn't get it working. And again, I'm pretty good at this stuff. So I know if it's me, I usually blame other people.
Yeah.
But sometimes I go, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong. So I sent her a screenshot because I had asked her about it, and she came back and she goes, well, no, that's working. I don't know what you're doing. Like, can you send me a screenshot so I can understand? So I sent her a screenshot and I showed her what it was doing. And she went, oh my goodness, we thought we had that fixed.
Right.
So now they're going to go and fix it. So they need that information. So sometimes you feel like, well, I don't want to bother them. You know, I'm sure they already know about it. Sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Right. Sometimes they just assume it's working.
For us too. If something's not working in one of our programs, or you've lost access to something, then just let us know, because we don't know unless we hear from you.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And the same thing with, as Stacy said, I mean, if you're out there and you're having bad customer service or something's not working for you, you have to tell them.
Yes.
They can't, they don't know it. They think everything's fantastic if you haven't complained about anything. Right?
Well, sometimes they think no news is good news.
Yeah.
Okay, so it must be working if I haven't heard anything. So don't be shy.
Yeah.
Let people know if things are amiss.
Yeah.
Or if something's really good and that it's working really well. Because I kind of also went into, this is what I really love about your program. This is, this is how I'm using it, which is a little different than what they had originally intended.
Yes.
So now it's very interesting because I built up a relationship with the customer service person. It's like, oh, hey, Stacy. I'm like, oh, hey, Dal.
We should be their beta testers now for anything we're thinking about, right?
Exactly.
No,
So
it's
kinda
true.
funny.
And we've worked with a lot of small software companies that are trialing at their stuff. And, they gain from the experience too, because we're telling them what we like and we don't like. And there are things that they've never, ever thought about.
Well, like I said, they didn't think that it would be used in this way. So now they're probably going back to their marketing department or their sales department going, well, now we just opened up a whole new opportunity for the company.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them.
If you want to, it's kind of like the cafe. We gave you information, run with it or don't.
Yeah.
Right? Like you have to make that decision. I mean, there's been people that have gone through my masterminds that have, taken the information, run with it, started businesses and did phenomenally well. And there are people that just stopped. They just didn't do anything. Yeah. And for me, it's always sad because I always go, well, I can see what they could have done. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's your own responsibility. If you have the information and you have the knowledge, then you have a choice to make. You either go forward or you sit still and do the same old thing. Your call.
Exactly. All right. Well, you have yourself a great week, and we will see you this time next Wednesday.